The sun was setting over the rugged hills of Dan, casting a warm golden glow over the small town of Zorah. In the modest home of Manoah and his wife, a sense of quiet anticipation filled the air. The couple had longed for a child, and their prayers had finally been answered. An angel had appeared to Manoah's wife, promising the birth of a son who would deliver the Hebrews from the oppression of the Philistines. And so, Samson was born, a child destined for greatness. From a young age, it was clear that he was no ordinary boy. His strength was unmatched, his courage unwavering. He was a Nazirite, dedicated to God from birth, with a mane of hair that flowed like a river of strength down his back. As Samson grew, so did the threat of the Philistines. These descendants of giants had long been a scourge on the land of Israel, pushing further and further inland, their oppressive presence casting a shadow over the land. But Samson was undaunted. He saw the suffering of his people and vowed to do whatever it took to free them from the Philistine yoke. His first act of defiance came when he encountered a young lion, its fierce eyes locking onto his. With a single, effortless motion, Samson tore the beast apart, a testament to the strength that lay within him. It was this same strength that would lead him to Thimnah, where he met and fell in love with a Philistine maiden. Despite the objections of his parents, Samson was determined to marry her, but only after she had become a Jewess. On his way to celebrate their marriage, he passed the spot where he had slain the lion, now a hive of bees producing honey. Samson took some of the honey and ate it, a sweet taste of victory that would linger for days. At the wedding feast, Samson posed a riddle to the Philistine guests, a puzzle that stumped them all. Through deceit and cunning, they eventually persuaded Samson's bride to reveal the answer, a betrayal that left Samson angry and humiliated. But it was not long before Samson's anger turned to vengeance. When he discovered that his wife had given to another man, he unleashed his fury upon the Philistines, setting their fields ablaze with fire and wreaking havoc upon their crops. The Philistines, in turn, sought revenge, burning down the house of Samson's father-in-law and killing his wife and her family. Enraged, Samson single-handedly attacked the Philistines, causing a great slaughter among them. Fearing further reprisals, Samson fled to the caves of the rocks of Etam, where he hid from his enemies. But even there, he was not safe. The Philistines pursued him, demanding that he be delivered into their hands. Bound and brought before the Philistine camp, Samson's strength was once again revealed as he broke free from his bonds and slew 1,000 men with the jawbone of a donkey. Recognized as a judge and leader of Israel, Samson's strength and courage kept the peace for 20 years. But his greatest challenge lay ahead, when he would be betrayed by the woman he loved and stripped of his strength, only to find it again in a final, desperate act of sacrifice. As Samson stood between the two towering pillars of the Temple of Dagon, the air thick with the sounds of revelry and the cheers of the Philistine crowd, a profound silence enveloped him. His eyes, once filled with determination, now reflected a deep sense of resignation. The weight of his destiny bore down upon him like the weight of the world itself. With trembling hands, Samson reached out and grasped the two massive columns, his fingers tracing the rough stone surface. He could feel the cool touch of the stone against his skin, grounding him in the reality of his imminent sacrifice. "Give me the strength, just this time," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the din of the crowd. He closed his eyes and bowed his head, his heart heavy with the knowledge of what was to come. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, Samson began to exert pressure on the pillars, his muscles straining against the weight. The crowd below, unaware of the drama unfolding above them, continued their frenzied celebration, oblivious to the impending disaster. As the tension in Samson's body grew, so did the suspense in the air. Every moment seemed to stretch into eternity, each breath a struggle against the inevitable. The pillars began to groan and creak under the immense pressure, the stones starting to crack and splinter. And then, with a final, monumental effort, Samson pushed with all his might. The pillars gave way with a deafening roar, sending a shockwave through the temple. The mighty structure collapsed in on itself, burying Samson and his enemies beneath a mountain of rubble. In that moment, as the dust settled and the echoes of destruction faded, Samson knew that his sacrifice had not been in vain. He had given his life to free his people from the tyranny of the Philistines, his strength and courage a testament to the power of faith and the indomitable spirit of a Nazirite.